Good evening, TheoTrade. This is Corey Rosenblum. You're watching the Theo Down video for the 5th of April here, still in 2022, and we have a down market today coming down from some key resistance points. That would be about the 4,600 level in the S&P, just shy of that 4,650. And we'll take a look at these. NASDAQ coming down from just about the 15.2. In the Dow, we see its trading range, a little cleaner or clearer trading range. Let's actually show that on the full chart. And that's coming down from just under the 35500 level. And the Russell is our small cap index, and it's, so far, a weaker index than the rest. In today's session, we have two different things standing out. And that's the Russell, speaking of, which also is an ETF if you trade options on it. Same logic, same levels will actually pull that trend line forward. And it's down 1.8%, at least before the close, and the NASDAQ is as well. So that's where we are in today's session in terms of sectors. Sectors looking at the top 9. Financials, technology, and discretionary. We have the industrials, materials, and energy. They're all down today. Financials, we'll take a quick peek at it. It is coming down from the top of its trading range. That's about 40 per share in the index, and is achieving its downside support target in a continuation range. And that range, again, is just think about a bell curve, a distribution, where that's going to be the highs of the distribution, and these are the lows. Midpoint or median is about that 39. So trade setups do tend to come when the market is over fair valuation or under fair valuation. Again, all things being equal. It's not the same way we're looking at this in the technology sector or the QQQ or the NASDAQ itself. Nonetheless, we can pinpoint some trading range levels for the broader technology sector. And I'll actually include a couple up here. That would be, roughly speaking, about the 13,250 prior lows and big reversal up, which puts about the midpoint or fair valuation roughly right here, just under the 15,000. That's where the NASDAQ is as well. Markets, again, are at the middle of the middle, just updating us from last Thursday's video. Middle of the middle still is in play. Back over to the energy sector. That's the one that's been much different. The energy sector in terms of our sector performance. Those are at the highs, and at the end of the video, we'll pinpoint some of the key stocks. And there's some of the ones looking here at the top leadership in today's session in a general split or at least bearish type of session. And we'll take a look again at crude, gold, and I think the big standout in today's session, I'm saving the conversation to talk about this in the bond market, which is down 1%, continuing the downtrend. But before we get there, just looking at industrials like the financial sector, just pinpointing our sectors, it does have a sideways trading range, and materials, as does the other sectors, including financials. Now, they're a little bit different where they are in the cycle, or mainly speaking, in the consolidation. So that is at the top of the range, which gives a short sell, or at least a bearish type of opportunity, when the ETF is considered above fair valuation, and that is about the 85. And underneath that would be a long or a buy. And again, that's just what we consider mean reversion, playing from above the mean back toward the mean in terms of swing trades, very, very short-term swing trades. Utilities are strongly on the bid, and that's going to take us into our list, or Southern Company, of strong stocks getting stronger. So we'll transition over there in the S&P 500 today. And remember, the market is in a down session. It's actually down about 1% for the ES, the broader market, and the NASDAQ is down 2%. Which stocks are leading the pack? They're familiar names, and they are, just in order of market cap, UNH, United Healthcare, and that's right there in the top leadership. It's up 2% today. And we see Walmart, retail name, a little head scratcher there, but Costco has been strong as well, and there's a big retail names. AbbVie Labs, that's been up there for quite a bit. It's actually a gainer of 1% today. Eli Lilly, Coca-Cola, Bristol Myers Squibb. We get into some energy sector stocks or utility stocks with the Duke Energy. Southern Company, we mentioned that. And Regeneron, which has continued to play higher. I think this has been a fun one. Hershey's has been a leading stock, all things considered. So that's your market cap list. we'll take a look at some of these names just on a side watch list. That way I can pull them into the charts quickly. So from that list, we see Southern Company, and it's up there as about the number 6 stock or so in the list, 6 or 7 in the leadership. But before we look at that, there is UNH. So UNH, we'll pull this back to a weekly chart over here and a daily chart to the left. Now this is a condition. Strong stocks do tend to get stronger, and a stock that is leading the market, remember the market's down for the year, and the market is even down for today's session, and any stock that is positive does show, at least today's session, relative strength. It's the best of a, dare I say, bad bunch, the best of a bearish bunch. It is leading the market higher. But the object is to get into positions or position yourself on pullbacks or retracements into the trend. And there's not a buy at this moment. There's not a pullback. But these are stocks to keep on your watch list. And they are outperforming the broader market. Walmart, this is why we take a look and do take a higher time frame perspective, because even though the computer is telling us, and it is, making a new 52-week high, see that there, this would not be a stock that I'd be too interested in going long. In fact, this could be a sell short or bearish rotation down to play an in-out spread or a bear position down from this 152. And that could target levels such as 144. Again, under the logic of something that is above fair valuation. Fair valuation's the middle. That's about 143 per share. Generally speaking, from an odds and probability standpoint, does favor the short or the bear side of the market, as was the case when the stock was found to be at the 134, which was under fair valuation, and that favored the long side. So that's one reason we take a look at scans and don't just take them at face value. We would be looking for things like this, which is AbbVie Labs. That's a little more confident to stay on the bull or the buy side and to stay a little bit safe or avoidant. Remember, there's a lot of stocks to trade from the short side. We don't want to short something that is that parabolic or that strong in terms of money flow. That becomes a very difficult position. Eli Lilly is more choppy, but nonetheless is piercing up to new highs. Goal will be to stay on the long side on those pullbacks. Coca-Cola is a defensive name in general, retail, but nonetheless it is a consumer staple. We all have to drink something, and they make products, not just Coca-Cola, but many other energy drinks and other things that Coca-Cola produces. So it's not just a beverage company necessarily, but it is strong getting stronger, but it's consider that again a staple, a safety company, and that's what we would expect. We would not expect large outperformance as we would with Tesla or Amazon, Apple, or those technology stocks, or other things that are high beta. Staple stocks tend to be boring, but they are consistent. And XLP is that ETF, and Coca-Cola is a leading name within that frame. Bristol Myers Squibb, just to pinpoint a few others, is breaking out of its long-term, that's a weekly chart trading range, and that is pushing new 52-week highs. But it is stocks such as Duke Energy, and again, Southern Company and others. There's Duke Energy, right behind that is Southern Company. Again, just showing these at the top of the list of stocks making new 52-week highs, and those will fall square in line with the utility sector. And again, that is similar to staples, similar maybe to the bond market, where we don't expect a lot of volatility. We don't expect these to strongly outperform the market, but that's a safety spot when you want to be a little safe, but still in equities that's in stock positions. Utilities can be a home for that, and that is a lot of where the strength is coming from recently. The other thing to look at is the bond market. So I promised a look at that before the video is over. And this is just the TLT, something I would trade on my own account. Not so much the bonds themselves, but I do trade TLT, and it's on the bear or downtrending side. And the most recent setup was, again, if the market is downtrending, we're not looking for it to be in a trading range. We are looking for it to rotate lower, and if that trend is lower, that does favor the bear or the short side of the market. And that's just the daily chart. Here is the weekly, and the peak for the TLT, again, tradable ETF, was 180. It currently trades at 130. And that is a long-term perspective downtrend in this particular ETF. The same would be true if you do sell a premium or buy bond contracts in the option market or just play the bond market within the framework here. The same logic plays off in the 10-year note, which continues its downtrend. And of course, the 30-year bond, which continues its downtrend. So in this sense, that which is weak tends to get weaker. On the final note, TNX is getting a big bid. This is the Treasury Yield. And as we look to Wednesday, when the Fed will release the minutes, they'll release what they discussed in the last meeting. So Fed minutes will take place Wednesday, the 6th of April here. And in the backdrop to that, 10-year note yield is making a new 52-week high. That's about 2.5% in the Treasury Yield. As always, be careful and safe. This is Corey Rosenblum with tonight's Theo video update for April 5th, 2022.